The success of Henry Ford's Model T had solved the problem of access. By the 1920s, the automobile was no longer a curiosity reserved for the privileged few, but a fundamental, everyday tool. This shift profoundly altered the fabric of American life. Streets that once echoed only with the clatter of horseshoes and the shouts of vendors now resonated with the steady, reliable hum of the internal combustion engine. The car was becoming the true engine of social change. The impact was immediate and personal. For families, the tyranny of distance was suddenly broken. Relatives living in other towns could be visited in a matter of hours rather than a grueling multi-day journey. Economically, businesses could now expand their delivery radius and tap into entirely new markets. This surge in personal mobility directly led to the sprawling growth of communities, which began spreading outward, shaking off the dense, historical constraints of walking-distance city centers. Yet this mechanical revolution quickly exposed the primitive nature of the world it had inherited. As the number of cars exploded across the nation, a critical set of new challenges arose, primarily related to infrastructure, safety, and operational speed. The limitations of the old roads were severe and humiliating for drivers. Routes that had been perfectly adequate for horses and wagons were uneven, rutted, and often treacherous. In the spring, they were impassable, mud-filled nightmares. It was common for drivers to spend hours attempting to extricate their wheels from soft ground. Even existing bridges built for lighter loads began to crack and fail under the consistent weight of new motorized traffic. The car, the great symbol of freedom, was constantly held hostage by the mud. The car did not merely suggest change. It demanded a fundamental restructuring of the physical landscape. Responding to this overwhelming demand, governments launched public works programs on a scale that was utterly unprecedented. Across America, asphalt and concrete began replacing dirt and gravel at a truly enormous scale. The creation of continuous hard-surface highways was like a national sewing project, stitching isolated, distant towns into cohesive regional and national networks. Suddenly, entirely new industries sprang up overnight. Gas stations needed to be built, reliable repair shops became necessities, and the first roadside diners and motels appeared to cater to travelers. Millions of workers found long-term employment. The American road system was born. With the practical function of the car now secured by new infrastructure, competition amongst automakers shifted dramatically from engineering necessity to emotional appeal, style, status, and identity. The stark, unadorned black uniformity of the Model T suddenly looked outdated. Manufacturers responded with an explosion of creativity. They introduced bolder shapes, a spectrum of vibrant colors, sweeping, dramatic fenders, shining chrome bumpers, and much more luxurious interior appointments. The car ceased to be a simple box on wheels. The transformation was spearheaded by General Motors under the leadership of Alfred P. Sloan, Jr., who revolutionized the very dynamics of the automotive market. Sloan introduced the radical concept of annual model updates, compelling buyers to return to the showrooms every single year. Crucially, he invented the famous ladder of success concept. A customer could begin with an affordable Chevrolet and eventually climb the ladder toward the stronger performance offered by Oldsmobile, Buick, and ultimately Cadillac. This strategy linked car ownership directly to the American dream. This focus on style was underpinned by massive engineering leaps. They transitioned into smooth, advanced overhead valve V8s, providing far greater torque, higher compression ratios, and unparalleled reliability. Furthermore, safety and convenience improved dramatically. Closed-body vehicles became the standard. The invention of the electric starter was arguably one of the most significant sociological improvements. It eliminated the dangerous, physically demanding ritual of hand cranking. As engines grew exponentially stronger and the new concrete roads provided reliable footing, a powerful new cultural obsession took hold: pure speed. The visceral roar of the high-compression combustion engine became the defining anthem of the decade's spirit. Crucially, the racetrack was treated as a high-speed laboratory where new materials, aerodynamic shapes, and improved braking systems were tested to destruction. The crucial mantra of the industry became, "What proved itself on Sunday at the racetrack often showed up in Monday's production models." The culture of speed and innovation developed on the track quickly permeated the everyday driving experience. Consumers were no longer satisfied with slow, lumbering transport. They wanted vehicles that truly felt alive and exciting. This intense demand directly led to the first generation of authentic, performance-oriented streetcars. By the end of the Roaring Twenties, the automotive revolution was irreversible and complete. The car was not just an object, it had fully integrated itself into the collective imagination. A cultural symbol of independence, a marvel of mass-market engineering, and the literal pulsing engine of modern civilization. The profound legacy of this era cannot be overstated. The success of the Roaring Twenties proved that the blueprint for the 20th century lay in the power of the machine, fueled by the relentless engine of mass production and driven by unyielding human ambition. They changed the way we move, they changed the way we live.